Welcome to People Doing Good for Others. Welcome to People Doing Good for Others, where we honor and praise, hold in the light, and celebrate those wonderful individuals who are truly making significant contributions in our communities. I'm Gary York, and I'm grateful to be part of the show. My featured guest today is Ms. Bekah Gardner. She's the coordinator of career coaches with Wilkes Community College. She's been there 6 years. Very happy in her career and looking forward to every day. She's also with the Gear Up program. She's a graduate of Elon University, working on her master's at App State. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an honor.
People Doing Good for Others is certainly an honor that we were told about you and connected, and it's just been a thrill to have this enthusiasm and vitality that you have to help people.
Yeah.
So you talked about growing up in Virginia and going to Elon and being in a major that you really didn't want to do. Tell that story, Bekah.
Sure. So I grew up in a really small area in Virginia. It's called Monterey. Nothing like Monterey, California, though. Nestled in the Appalachian Mountains. And again, very rural. We had one high school, one school for the entire county. And my graduating class was a large class of 42 students. And so my ticket out of that small, rural, poverty-stricken county was education. I knew that I wanted something better for my life. And so there were about a third of us from that graduating class that did go on to college. And I chose to go out of state. That was really one of my goals, was to get as far away as I could in some ways. And really fell in love with Elon. And one of the reasons why is they did have a sports medicine program there. I thought that's what I wanted to study. I always knew I wanted to help people. I had been involved in our volunteer fire department in that rural area, and knew that I wanted to help people in some way, and was very athletic back in the day, a long time ago, and thought that would be a good fit for me. At Elon, I took my very first biology class that was for pre-med majors, and realized very quickly that was not what I wanted to do and not what I wanted to study for 4 more years. I could barely make it through that one class.
Sports medicine would require biology to start.
So. Oh, lots of biology and anatomies, and I was not cut out for that. And so through multiple discussions with that professor, as well as with a network that was called Elon Volunteers, I really started to volunteer and fall more in love with nonprofit work and volunteering. And at that point, I changed my major to human services. So my experiences are like a lot of high school students and college students who enter a field that they think they know because that's what their realm is, and then later on change that major. So we are there now to help support students in making those decisions and helping them plan their education.
And you also had the gift of having studied abroad, right?
Yes, I did. So when I was in college, I had the opportunity. I lived in London for a semester and study abroad in that program, and had an internship there, and I took theater and art classes, and
oh my goodness,
had a really good experience.
Wow. So that turn was such a valuable part of your life, wasn't it?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and getting that early class of biology and knowing you didn't want to be there.
Right. So I quickly knew what I didn't want to do.
Yeah, we talked about that. Of a lot of kids might not learn what it is, but they know what they don't want to do.
Right, and that's just as important, to know what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right, a lot of students may start out, and our first jobs are typically in fast food or the service industry, and we can quickly either determine to continue and advance that career into managerial work, or to say, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Right. And so that's narrowing down career and education options and decisions. based on experiences.
Bekah Gardner, how did you connect with Wilkes Community College?
So my career in Wilkes County launched initially with the SAFE organization, which is a nonprofit organization committed to domestic violence prevention. And there I was helping women get back on their feet and coach them through how to become employable in making resumes and helping connect women with the workforce. That role morphed, and I then went to work for Wilkes Community College as a youth career coach and worked with younger students, pretty much 16 to 21, who for various reasons just needed that additional support. Maybe they were parenting, maybe they had dropped out of high school, and so my role was really to connect those students back into education and the workforce. So I have a history of coaching folks and have really enjoyed that. And when you think of coaching, it's not necessarily athletic. It's really in the education and career realm. So.
Youngsters that maybe are lacking awareness of opportunities, give us some idea of some of the things, questions they might ask, or can you do that? Just
Sure.
How do you connect in a special way with these youngsters?
Yeah, so we have some great tools and resources that we use. Many of them are really just to work with a student and figure out what are your interests, what are the things you like to do, and what are the things you don't like to do, and help to narrow down their career selection. Another really good question is, how are you doing academically? How long do you plan to go to school? And that can give you a pulse of, are you looking at a short-term credential, like maybe a welding certificate? That can certainly be used in the workforce where you can make a very viable wage, or it could be going to a 4-year college or university. But really having conversations with students, it has to be individualized. You can't make a plan for somebody, because your plan and my plan are going to be two different things. So really just asking good questions and using tools like career assessments to help figure out what their options are.
Let me ask you a question. I met Greg, is it Rosales?
Yes.
And I was lost, and I think he could sense that I was, to meet you at 2 o'clock, and so, and he had the best communication skills and smile and approachability that I've seen in a long time. Do we teach those kind of skills?
Absolutely. So in fact, one of our career coaches was out in the high schools just this week, and they were teaching to the senior English classes soft skills, communication skills, how to conduct yourself, how to give presentations, how to look somebody in the eye and give them a handshake. So these are things that we're doing as a career coaching team. And we work very closely with our CTE, our career and technical education teachers, with our school counselors, with administrators. It is definitely a partnership that we would not be able to accomplish these things if we weren't all on the same page. But the career coaches are doing these things in our high schools.
How did that happen? Let's talk about that.
So the career coaches, we were awarded a state grant from the community college system to Wilkes Community College to launch the career coaching program. We were awarded funding for 4 coaches, and through the strategic planning and conversations that were already happening at the college, we were able to secure private donations to hire 2 additional career coaches. So we now have a team of 6 coaches. I don't include myself in that count.
Right. You're the supervisor or coordinator
Sure.
of the coaches.
Sure. And so we now have a career coach in each Wilkes, Ashe, and Allegheny high schools to do this important work. And the really important work is helping students create an individual career and academic plan. And so we're there to work with all students, all high school students, not just students who are planning to come to Wilkes Community College, because we feel like regardless of what your education path is, Wilkes Community College can offer something, a course, a certificate, in something that will help you launch into that plan.
We also have a day where all 8th graders come to the college to talk about early college. Share the wonderment of that day, if you will?
Sure. So this has recently occurred, and we dedicate a day for each middle school in Wilkes County to come and visit the early college and Wilkes Community College campus. And during that visit, they're exposed to the option of the early college. They're also exposed to options if they stay with their traditional school. So for example, a West Middle student, if they choose to go to West Wilkes High School, we want them to know that regardless of whether you apply and attend the early college, you'll start taking classes, college classes as a 9th grader. But if you go to West, we want you to know that you can take college classes as an 11th or 12th grader.
Is that the Career Promise?
Yes, Career and College Promise,
Okay.
exactly. And that's a dual enrollment program, so that's what it used to be called, where a student can take advantage of a college class, and it counts for both a high school credit and a college credit. And so that's the Career and College Promise program. And again, regardless of what their path is and what they're thinking about doing in the future, we have a course that will help every student fulfill those plans.
Okay. So were all the youngsters on campus at the same time?
So each middle school, so we have about 200 at a time that are visiting our campus. At the end of the week, it's about 800 students total that have visited. And so it takes a huge village of staff and teachers willing to showcase their programs, as well as huge support from the early college to highlight their programs.
Ms. Gardner, you also used the word intentional several times. Share the essence of intentional. I really like that.
I can give you a student example, and I think that'll help me illustrate why intentional is so important. So last spring in Wilkes County, they do pretty much in the spring is when you're registering for your classes and courses for next year, for the entire year. So we were meeting with students who had already shown an interest in taking advantage of the Career and College Promise CCP classes. And the one student that I met with kind of it really made me pause and think. She had taken maybe 3 animal science classes. And these are college classes that carry college weight, and also give high school credit.
And she had
done very well in them. And we were having a conversation about what her plans were. I assumed, which is always a bad thing to do, that her interest was in animal science because she had taken animal science courses. And so my thoughts were, well, let's help you complete this animal science credential. Are you looking at farming or working with large animals? What are your intentions with animal science? And she was very taken aback. I'm not interested in that type of career. I don't want to do animal science. And that's where it really hit me. We've missed the mark because that student had the advantage, could have taken classes that would help her with her career plan instead of taking classes that were, of interest to her. I mean, she took classes because that's what her friends were taking, and it seemed interesting. Her plans were to come to Wilkes Community College, complete an associate's degree, a transferable degree, and then go on to a 4-year college or university. Now the cost, we haven't talked about that. The cost of a CCP class is $20. $20 for a college class. Now, when she graduates and comes to Wilkes Community College, not being a high school student, it's going to cost a lot more than $20 per class. So we see that as a missed opportunity. We missed that opportunity for that student to take relevant, intentional coursework that would help her with whatever whatever her career plans were. So the career coaches really play a viable part in helping students ensure that they're taking intentional coursework that match their career plans.
Knowing what they hopefully want to do.
Right. And we know that's going to change.
Sure it is.
Students change their mind. Career plans change, but we want it to be intentional for what that plan is at that moment. And if they learn that that's something they don't want to do, that's okay.
Yeah.
We can now move on to making it more intentional for what they want to do.
We also use the word of options and opportunity. Let's go there for a minute, if you will.
Sure. So in the 80s or 90s, when some of us as parents of now high schoolers were graduating from high school, we maybe had 200 different college majors that you could choose from in that time. We know that just one major might represent several career options, but we know there's research that tells us the standard kind of course listing of majors that were available was about 200. Today, those majors are over 2,300 options. That's a whole lot of options to figure out and navigate, what do I want to do? Where are my interests? And just that major number represents lots of job opportunities. Some jobs that are still being created while these students are in high school. We don't even know what the future holds in some fields, in some areas. But we need to prepare those students with tools and with courses that will be transferable to whatever those careers might be. A really good illustration, another career coach recently pointed out there's an ophthalmological technician program at Duke University. I had never heard of this, but it is a one-year program where students learn how to work in an eye doctor office and go to work. In 1 year, they can make just as much income as many of us who have 4-year degrees or higher. So I think we need to do a better job of educating our students about those many options and opportunities, but also being willing to explore what are the jobs that are coming.
Wow. You mentioned CTE a minute ago. That's the heart and soul of so many youngsters in the high school level. Once again, visit some of the course study or for a person who's going in that direction.
Sure. So our career and technical education programs are numerous. I couldn't even begin to list them all on one or two hands. We have just about anything that a student is interested in, whether it's business administration, to some of our health science programs, to our transportation opportunities. So there's an opportunity for everybody to get started. We have lots of hands-on technical skills and trades that we want folks to learn so that they can be a viable part of our workforce.
Your coaches are also going to pursue opportunities to connect with parents. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So we, in this past month, we held a family academy, College Family Academy. And this was a first-time event where we opened the doors of the college and said, high school students, we want you to get good information, whether it's about applying to Wilkes Community College or financial aid, or how do we take advantage of these career and college promise options. We're hearing about it, as families and parents, they may be somewhat aware, but what are the steps we need to take in order to take advantage of those? Mm-hmm. So we had about 40 individuals that came to this first event. We will have another opportunity like this for families in February. I believe it's February 20th. And this is, again, just another option where families can come to us. But we want families to know that the coaches are at the high schools. If you can make any type of 30-minute window, 45-minute window, we would love to welcome you and work with you alongside your student. Because we want parents to have just as much good information as the student is getting about their college options. When I say the word college, I really want folks to know that I'm not just talking about a 4-year college.
That's a good point.
When I say college, I mean anything that's post-secondary. So any education and training after high school that prepares a student for the workforce. And that could be, again, a certificate, it could be a diploma, or a 2-year or 4-year degree, or even beyond. But when I say college, I'm thinking the entire spectrum of post-secondary education.
So the career coach will be working with folks at the college, Wilkes Community College, with the high school, and also with employers.
Exactly.
Talk about the employer side of it.
Yeah, so they are Wilkes Community College employees, and quest to learn as much as they can about all the programs that we offer, as well as the school system, and know what career technical education classes a student can take in 9th and 10th grade that then lead to college courses. So they're tasked with a lot of information to know about both of those. But the third, really important, is to know about our workforce, to know what are our local business needs and how can we help plug students into those. You may be aware that in Wilkes they launched a pre-apprenticeship program this past year for students to take advantage of, working with various companies in Wilkes County.
Did they?
Yes,
Wow.
and so this has been, this is an effort through career and technical education as well as a partnership with the college so that students can learn, but they also earn money along the way while they're learning these skills. So that's just another example of one of the ways we want to connect with the workforce community. Again, it's a huge collaboration with the school system, and so we're all working together to better educate our students about the local opportunities. In September, we took a field trip to Gardner Glass. So we took students that were in career and college promise classes to visit a local employer to see what are the skills that they're learning and how do those translate into a job when they've completed high school. So we want students to be aware of options and know that there are lots of great companies and businesses that want them here and regionally.
And there are 4 or 5 youngsters whose parents have no post-secondary education.
So yeah, our statistics in Wilkes, Ashland, Allegheny tell us that 4 out of 5 workforce eligible individuals, so those 18 and older, have no post-secondary education. So when we think about, when I was in high school, I would go to my school counselor and ask for information about careers in college, or I would ask my parents, and so my frame of reference growing up, like many students today, is based on those sources of information. And so when we think about that statistic, 4 out of 5 individuals do not have post-secondary education. That's a pretty limiting view of the job possibilities and career possibilities that a student is exposed to. So again, it shows the need for the career coaches and really exposing students to opportunities. And we hope that we can accomplish that.
Yeah. And 99% of the jobs are going to require some college. Is that, we said that?
Yeah, so there's, Georgetown University does some really important research on workforce and education needs. And in a recent study that they published, of the new jobs that were created from 2009 until 2016 or 17, of all those new jobs that were created, 99% required some type of post-secondary education. So the workforce has changed. We know that education is important. And again, when I talk about college, that means anything post-secondary. We know that there are options for everybody, but you're going to need some type of credential in the workforce. So
financial aid is a key part of your oversight too. I know a young lady that's in Wake Forest Law School that came through the Wilkes County system, Wilkes Community College, University of North Carolina, and is in law school and doesn't owe a penny. Had no money because folks were willing to work with her.
yeah,
And that's amazing. But
Yeah.
those opportunities, that intention, that option, you're in the opportunity realm of life right now with youngsters.
yeah,
Yeah.
So we want students to know that college is affordable.
Yeah.
Starting out by taking a college course for $20 is a pretty good investment. It's a pretty good bargain.
Wow.
And there are scholarships all along the way, whether it's for a career college promise class, a $20 scholarship, or if there's a need when they're coming to Wilkes Community College after they've graduated high school. We want students to complete. We want them to start with us, and we want them to finish with us.
Sure.
But college is affordable. That would be my message.
And I want to restate, as you've been in education for me, that we might not necessarily know what it is we want to do, but we might for sure know what we don't want to do.
Sure.
That's a great point. I think that is in itself worthy of mention again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So sometimes it's easier to, when you think about 2,000 different majors and millions of types of jobs, sometimes it's easier to narrow out what you don't want to do than it would be to pinpoint exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
My message to high school students and really college students, you don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to know all the answers. But I would say develop a plan. And if your plan as a high school student can just be, my plan is to graduate, and my plan is to pursue some type of post-secondary education. That's a plan.
Yeah.
If that's your plan, you can work towards meeting those
What do you say,
goals.
plan it and do it?
Plan it, yes. So there's a logo from Gear Up, and it's college. And again, college to me is big. It means all post-secondary. And the logo is college. Dream it, plan it, and do it. Wow. And so if you can dream about the career that you want, we'll help you plan it. We'll help you figure it out. But it's ultimately up to a student to make those decisions and to do it. And we're excited about this venture.
I can tell you are. That's wonderful. Mrs. Kim Fall is in your department head. Tell us about her and how you work together.
Yeah, so Kim is my supervisor. She's the Vice President of Instructional Support and Student Services. And we work very closely together. She's a great advocate for students and for this program especially. And we would not have this program if it had not been for her support and writing this grant for the state and pursuing this. So we're grateful to have the support from the administration at Wilkes Community College, as well as the support from all the administration in Ash, Wilkes, and Allegheny school systems.
Ms. Gardner, tell us what a career coach will do, say during the day. Just give us some idea about this new person in every high school campus.
Sure, I can tell you about some of the things they've already done. So they're already doing presentations with classes about soft skills. They're already doing presentations with students, with seniors, to say, we want you as a WCC student. How can we help you with the application, with the residency determination, with the financial aid pieces? How can we help you? They are meeting one-on-one with students, creating those plans, creating those individual plans of where does that student want to be and hope to be 5 years down the road, 6 years down the road, and how can we help ensure that the college coursework that you plan to take matches up with that. So they're already doing great things. They're already doing amazing things.
Okay, the motto again.
So college.
Go to college.
Go to college. Dream it.
Dream it.
Plan it.
Plan it.
And do it.
Wow. What an exciting day we've had here. Just thank you so much for, I think Zach Barricklow connected us maybe some way, but I'm to have connected with the college, the career coaches and your role in it. Wow. So tell us what you share, how happy you are to be part of Wilkes Community College.
Well, I hope that this is a very long, fulfilling career at Wilkes Community College for me. I enjoy every day, and I hope that the passion that I bring to my job is what our students have, regardless of what their careers are. I hope that they are passionate about what they're doing. Certainly, I love what I do, and I'm blessed.
Well, it shows and glows. So Bekah Gardner, what an honor to have you.
Thank you.
And you blessed us in countless ways, and we're in good hands with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.